Hi, my name is David Brown, and this is my Teaching with Technology testimonial for the fall seminar class that I took in 2015. I was teaching a large quantitative methods research class. It was basically an intro to stats class for political science majors, and it had about 180 students in the class, and I wanted to get students sharing their data and their data analysis with each other in a large classroom setting. And I also had flipped the class so that we were doing in-class assignments where the students were asked to analyze a particular problem, and then part of the next class was to share that data and that data analysis with their fellow students. And so I wanted to find some way to spark a discussion of sharing this data with 180 students in a big class. And so the intervention that I used was, rather than using the discussion threads on D2L, which can be fairly clunky and don't do a good job of showing graphics, I used a program called Padlet, which allowed students to very easily put their work up on a web page that I could put on the big screen in front of class, and people could see as they were going through the assignment the different things that students wanted to do. So that was the intervention. I had really no way or effective way of having a discussion about people's work when I actually wanted to show the work. So Padlet allowed me to put that work up on a bulletin board, up on a big screen where students could see it, and it allowed me to show very easily the data analysis and the different kinds of graphics that students were preparing. So this was very helpful. So let me go through the checklist here and let you know about my experience. First, I need to reflect on and describe how the intervention changed students' experiences. My sense is that they actually really liked being able to see other people's work. So during the class time, I noticed that various students would look at whatever was posted to spark ideas. And so in a way, even without having a formal discussion, this was starting to interactively orient the students in a way with each other, where they could see what the different groups were posting up on the web, and they could see instantaneously the kind of work that was being done by their fellow classmates, which I think helped in a lot of ways where students were lost and they weren't quite prepared or didn't quite understand what they needed to do for the assignment. In terms of my experience as a teacher, what it did was it removed a technical barrier that was evident in my class, and what it did for me was it exposed the fact that I wasn't prepared for the next step, in the sense that now that I got this particular logistical thing out of the way, I realized that the deeper, more complex sorts of things that I wanted the students to touch on during their discussion, my assignments were not framed in such a way that it would spark that particular discussion. So more than anything else, the technology sort of laid bare the fact that my assignments were not as framed as well as they could be to spark the kind of discussions that I wanted to have. In terms of how I would revise this intervention, if I were to pursue it again, I'm definitely going to pursue it. I'm just going to have, I'm going to give myself more time to see what they've posted. So what I'm going to do is, on the Monday class, I'm going to have them actually try to get through the assignment as quickly as possible and post what they have at the end of class, so that I have at least a day to sort of look over what they've done, so that we can have a fuller discussion in the next day, and I can sort of map out the different points that I want to make using their particular assignments as examples. In terms of what I found most uncomfortable or disengaging about the intervention, was what I mentioned earlier. Interactively, it was great for the students because they could see what other students were doing, so on and so forth. But it made me realize that I needed to design the in-class assignments, or at least frame them in a way so that the students were primed to talk about the deeper issues like measurement, causation, that sort of thing, as they were going through these particular assignments. What did I find most surprising or unexpected about the intervention? Probably that it was very easy, and that the students actually, they seemed to enjoy it, and I was surprised that it didn't automatically create the discussions that I was hoping for. It actually revealed that I needed to work on how I designed the assignments. And then finally, how might I apply this process or experiments to future learning designs? I want to use the, I am now I'm sold on flipping the class. This is a stats class, so one could argue that it lends itself to that. But I plan on having students actually do work in class rather than for me to sit up and lecture in front of them. And, or I should say, stand up and lecture in front of them. And so basically, this is something that I'm going to use in all my different classes.